Hello, everyone. Welcome to Oxy Academy. Today, we are going to understand the electrocardiogram, or ECG, in a simple and easy-to-remember way. An ECG is a graphical recording of the electrical activity of the heart. It does not measure the pumping action directly. Instead, it records the electrical impulses that trigger the heart muscle to contract. Always remember this important principle. Electrical activity comes first. Mechanical contraction comes next. Let's begin with the heart's electrical pathway. The heartbeat starts at the SA node, which is the heart's natural pacemaker. It generates 60 to 100 electrical impulses per minute. The electrical impulse spreads through both atria, causing them to contract. This electrical activity is represented by the P wave. P wave. The P wave represents atrial depolarization. As the atria depolarize, they contract and push blood into the ventricles. Think of it as P means pumping by the atria. Next comes the PR interval. PR interval. The PR interval represents the time taken for the electrical impulse to travel from the SA node through the AV node to the bundle of His. Normally, it lasts 0.12 to 0.20 seconds. The AV node creates a brief delay so the ventricles have enough time to fill with blood before they contract. You can remember it like this. PR means pause for ventricular filling. Now, let's move to the QRS complex. Q wave. The Q wave is the first small negative deflection. It represents septal depolarization, where the electrical impulse begins to spread through the interventricular septum. R wave. The R wave is the first positive deflection. It represents depolarization of the main muscle mass of both ventricles. This is when the ventricles begin to contract. S wave. The S wave is the negative deflection that follows the R wave. It represents the final phase of ventricular depolarization. By the end of the QRS complex, the ventricles are fully activated and contract forcefully to pump blood. Remember, the QRS complex represents ventricular depolarization and ventricular contraction. One important point, during the QRS complex, atrial repolarization also occurs, but it is hidden because the QRS complex is much larger. Now let's look at the ST segment. ST segment. The ST segment is the period when the ventricles remain completely depolarized and continue ejecting blood into the pulmonary artery and the aorta. Clinically, this segment is very important. ST elevation may indicate an acute myocardial infarction, while ST depression may suggest myocardial ischemia. Now comes the T wave. T wave. The T wave represents ventricular repolarization. This is when the ventricles relax and prepare for the next heartbeat. Simply remember, T means time to relax. Finally, let's talk about the QT interval. QT interval. The QT interval represents the total time required for ventricular depolarization and repolarization. A prolonged QT interval can increase the risk of dangerous ventricular arrhythmias, such as Torsades de Pointes. Now, let's summarize the entire ECG sequence. The SA node fires first. The P wave represents atrial depolarization. The PR interval allows time for ventricular filling. The QRS complex represents ventricular depolarization and contraction. The ST segment shows the ventricles actively pumping blood. The T wave represents ventricular relaxation. Here's a simple memory trick. P, atria pump. PR, pause for filling. QRS, ventricles squeeze. ST, blood is pumped. T, time to relax. Always remember, electrical activity first, contraction next, relaxation last. Understanding this sequence is the key to interpreting every ECG rhythm correctly. Thank you for watching. If you found this lesson helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to Oxy Academy for more nursing education, ECG interpretation, and clinical learning videos. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.